What up, what up, what up? It's K.Honesty, and I'm about to do a review of the Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 16. So if you haven't seen Episode 16 of Season 9 of the Real Housewives of Potomac, turn this video off and go watch the episode, then come back and watch this video. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel. It is a simple, free, easy, anonymous way to support my channel. It takes less than 5 seconds of your time to do. The best way to help support my channel. So please like and subscribe. I am not a public speaker. I will tend to fumble my words and say and so and like 1,000 times. Definitely gonna be looking at my notes that I take throughout the show. I may slow my speaking down to regain my thoughts. I may stop speaking just to regain my thoughts. Anything I say, it's my opinion. It does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. And also comment below what you would grade this week's episodes, the preseason finale. What you thought of it, if there's anything I forget or I'm off on or I leave out, let me know in the comments, or just leave your opinions in the comments and your grades. I like to grade the episodes before and after my reviews. I'm gonna give this episode I'm gonna give it a B+, because way to go, Stacey. Like y'all know I love me some Karen, but I was not feeling Karen this episode. And I like Stacey, so I'm giving this episode a B+ just because of Stacey. So yeah, that's my grade for this week's episode. Last chance. This is the Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 16 review. So if you haven't seen it, turn this video off so you don't get any spoilers. I was about to say my nose like I scratched it and okay, whatever. So the episode begins, of course, where we left off in last week's episode, with this to be continued. Mia and Karen going back and forth because Karen feels like she brought some tea to the group that Jeremiah is in fact Gordon's son, and Mia knew the whole time. And Mia, of course, is calling Karen out for sleeping with other men and her whole DUI situation. So they're going back and forth about that. The ladies head back inside because we still at Ashley's drag show event. Stacey tells Mia that she should go to the group and clarify some of the things that Karen is saying. And Mia's like, I'm not going to do that. Because does Karen clarify her DUI or the fact that that Raven is maybe not even Ray's daughter? Oh, excuse me. So then Karen in her confessional says that Mia must have some type of dirt on Stacey because she's trying to figure out why Stacey's not by her side in this moment. Because, Stacey came in as a friend of Karen's, but it's just like, I'm just like, no, Karen, it's because she don't agree with the way you handled it. Yes, we all know Mia be lying. We know she full of shit, blase, but it's just like, the way you came about it, it was like out of nowhere. Like, who really cares about all the stuff that you saying about Mia? We know she lies. And y'all bringing it up like it's such a big old deal. Like, we shouldn't even be surprised. Y'all know Mia's a known liar. We shouldn't even be surprised by this stuff. So then Wendy goes over to Stacey and Mia, and she asks Stacey, what side is she on? And I'm just like, really, Wendy? And I love me some Wendy, but I'm looking at her like, why does Stacey have to pick a side? That was crazy to me. Wendy has been going so hard for Karen this whole season, so it's crazy to find out what happened. I mean, it's crazy to see what happens towards the end of this episode. So then the ladies head back to the table. Josh, Ashley's little fling thing, whatever, he arrives. And Giselle takes him over to introduce him to Ashley's family. And then the drag show begins. Ashley comes out dancing like Ellen DeGeneres. I was just like, what the fuck is... She brings Karen on stage and takes her top off and dances for Karen. Some of the ladies, of course, are giving their opinions in their confessionals. Wendy says Ashley's finally putting that stiff body to work. Oh, she says finally putting that hard body to use. Wendy had some little lines this episode that had me cracking up. But after the show is over, Ashley goes around. She goes to chat with Josh and her family first. Then she goes over to the ladies, and they start telling her about Mia and her lies. And Ashley just so shocked, like Giselle and Karen were. She's like, really? So all this stuff Mia's been saying has been lies? Gordon isn't manic and blase blase? And I'm just like, why are y'all so surprised when y'all know she lies? So we get this next scene. Giselle, Ashley, Karen, and Kiana meet for brunch. And they talk a little bit about Mia and her lies. And then Kiana gets emotional and tells them about the disagreements she's been having with Greg. And mainly because she's hanging out with this group. And, you know, the lady's giving her some words of encouragement. You know, if he can't support you in all your endeavors, then there's some red flags there, basically. They're giving her some encouragement, consoling her and whatnot. So we get this scene. Mia picks up Ink from the airport. They're in the car, and Ink tells Mia that Gordon texted him about the paternity test of Jeremiah, and says that Gordon also told him that he told Mia about the paternity about a week ago, or some weeks ago, or whatever. So Ink says that he doesn't even believe that Gordon got the paternity test, got the test done. And Mia's like, yeah, I have results in my inbox that say 99.9%. So it's like, okay, so yeah, you had this info. We don't know how long you had this info, but you have the results in your inbox, which you just said. So then Ink states his issues with Mia and Gordon having boundaries. I mean, not having boundaries, and saying that them not having boundaries is taking a toll on Ink and Mia's relationship. So then we get the scene. Stacy is at the Humane Rescue Alliance, which she's an ambassador for, and she's hosting a Strut for Strays event, which is like a fashion show where they're gonna be trying to get dogs adopted. And Ashley arrives, and Stacy gives her a little more insight about her event. And she tells Ashley about going in this. She had a second mediation appointment with her husband, and she says that it went well. She says that she has one more to go. And Ashley's like, well, my situation is the opposite. She tells Stacy that her and Michael still are still at a standstill as far as the confidentiality clause that he wants her to sign, I think. And she says that if she doesn't hear anything from Michael's lawyer by the week, then she'll have to publicly file why she's getting divorced, which is called a public claim. And she said it could either be good or bad. She says vanilla or sour or something. I don't remember. She makes those little comparisons, and I was just like, no. Stacy tells Ashley that she waived her child support rights. And Ashley, of course, brings up what the lawyer was bringing up to Stacy. She's like, well, what if he gets remarried? And Stacy's like, even if he gets remarried, Arabella will still be his daughter. She says, you know, I feel like my situation is, she says she feels like she's good in her situation. She stands by waiving her child support rights, regardless of other people telling her that she might want to rethink it before she signs the papers. So we get this scene, Kiana and Greg. First, they're in the car and they're on the way to dinner. And Kiana tries to bring up the disagreements that they've been having, but Greg doesn't seem to want to talk about it on camera. Then they sit down for dinner, and Greg brings up, he's like, you know, we're different genders, so of course we're not gonna see eye to eye on everything. And I'm just like, nigga, that's the excuse you got right now? Because y'all are different genders that y'all not going to see eye to eye? If that's the case, then every damn couple not going to see eye to eye. Like, what? I was just, like, confused by him saying that. So then he says that he does notice that Kiana is struggling with them not seeing eye to eye. And he tells her that she should just go with the flow and calm the fuck down sometimes. And it was just like... Like, really, nigga? Like, and then he said it so nonchalantly, like, it's like, almost like she's heard him speak like this before. So then, she tells him that she feels like she shrinks herself when she's with them, that she's not her full self. And she says when they're together, she wants them to be on the same page. And she tells him that she wants to feel seen by him. And then she starts getting emotional, and she tells him that he can be very dismissive of her needs. And even in this moment of him saying that he disagrees about him being dismissive of her needs, is him being dismissive of her needs. So it's just like, even even in this moment of you saying that, you're doing the exact thing that she says that she feels like you do. And he don't even see it. This is like, okay, I'm not seeing it for this. I'm not seeing this guy for Kiana. She need to take a step back before they move in with each other. Good thing they ain't married or got no kids together yet or nothing. And I think she say she met his kids? I think she did. She said she met his kids already. So Stacy she goes to Vivian's boutique. The friend of Vivian. She's and I guess that's where the ladies are gonna be getting their outfits for Stacy's event. So she shares in her confessional that she sent out a video invite to her event with her daughter in the video, and they show Karen's response. Karen texts back she's not coming. Basically, in so many few words, she says because basically Stacy didn't have her back at Ashley's drag show again against Mia. And I'm just like, really, Karen? Like, really? I was just like, Stacy didn't really have Mia's back neither, because Stacy told Mia that Mia needs to clarify to the group. So it wasn't like she was taking sides. I was just like, come on, Karen. Like, I love Karen to death. Karen is my favorite. But Karen, this episode was making me look at her like, what? So, Wendy and Ashley arrived first to Vivian's boutique. And Wendy gonna say, oh, hey, Ashley, last time I seen you, you had a dick. I thought that was so funny. I was like, Wendy in these lines this episode is hilarious. So Stacy then brings up Karen's response to her invite and says that she doesn't think Karen is going to be in the show, but will be there to support. So Wendy starts telling Stacy, you didn't stick up for Karen when against Mia. And then Giselle comes in and she tells Stacy that she was with Karen when they got the invite to come to Vivian's boutique to get outfits. And she tells Stacy that Karen felt the way because Stacy didn't reach, because Karen brought Vivian to the show. Like, Karen introduced the group to Vivian. The group was introduced to Vivian through Karen. So she felt like Stacy should have reached out to Karen before sending the invite out, letting her know that the girls were going to be coming to Vivian's boutique. And I was just like, Karen, I was looking at Karen like, really, Karen? Because I was like, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Stacy and Karen both know Vivian? They was like one of the first scenes of the season was them at Vivian's boutique. So Stacy's like, well, I knew Vivian before I knew Karen. I shouldn't have to check in with Karen about that. Mind you, Giselle came in that joint just super salty. So then Stacy's like, well, there's women in this group who said worse things about Karen, but because I didn't I didn't tell her we were getting dressed at Vivian's, she drops out of my event and she's being salty with me. And it's just like, yeah, because she mentions Mia saying all this stuff about Karen, Kiana saying Karen was on Ozempic and all that. And I even said something about that. I said, oh, Karen, if that was anybody else that had said that, Karen would have been down their throat. But because it was Kiana, she ain't had nothing to say. So I was like, yeah, that's right, Stacy. So then Giselle gets well, Stacy, you didn't even ask if we'd like to walk the runway. And Stacy's like, I just thought that since it's a good charity, it's a good cause, blase, blase. And then Giselle says, I didn't even know you were into charities like that. It's just like, what? Why would you even say something like that? She's like, you didn't donate to my charity. And Stacy's like, that's because I was kicked out. And because we don't know what the fuck GNA is, we still don't know what the fuck GNA is. Like, we're not about to donate to something we don't even know what it is. Like, y'all had y'all first event. It was like a cocktail party mixture or whatever. And y'all donated to, I think, brain tumors or something that had something to do with her, how Giselle's father passed. It's like, okay, good. But then y'all had this second event. And it was like Ashley was performing. And it was just like, we don't know what the fuck GNA is. Why are we donating the stuff we don't know what it is? So then she's like, you don't know if we have allergies against dogs or traumatic experiences against dogs. And Stacey's like, well, do you? And Giselle's like, yes, I've been bitten by a dog when I was a child. Then she says in her confessional that may or may not be true. It's just like, so you just saying shit. Like, and kudos to Stacey the way she handles it. Because I'm just looking at her like, I'm looking at Giselle like, this is the Giselle that we know. Evil Giselle. So then Stacey says in her confessional, you know, Karen wants friends that will blindly ride for her. And maybe that means I need to step back from being her friend. And then Giselle tells Stacey that she'll be there, but she's not walking in the runway. She's like, I'll write a check. And Stacey's like, well, okay, you can sit next to Karen. And I was like, yes, Stacey. Because I'm like, Giselle, like, girl, don't nobody need you to walk in the event. So we get this scene at Wendy's. She talks briefly about the second season of her Dr. Wendy show approaching. Eddie comes out and gives her some good news that she'll be able to film an episode of her show at the White House. So I was like, yes, Dr. Wendy. And she'll be interviewing Press Secretary Corinne Jean-Pierre, who's also the first Black woman to be press secretary for the White House. So I was like, I know that's right, Wendy. Like, she might have quit as a professor, but she's still doing her big one. She's still doing shit. She's still doing it. So, and I love Wendy, and I'm loving her this season. She's so like carefree and nonchalant. Her little one-liners this episode has been hilarious, and so on. So Stacey and Mia meet for drinks, and of course I feel like Stacey, even though I like Stacey did this meet up with Mia to be messy. But either way, I still like Stacey. So Mia starts talking about Gordon having another episode, and this is just like, at this point, is he, Mia? We don't know because you lie so much, and it don't seem like Gordon's been having these episodes like you said. And she talks about being upset with him for sharing their business with Ray. So then Stacey tells Mia that before she even met the group of ladies, that Karen told her that she should stay away from Mia because Mia's not Potomac. And then Mia's like, is Potomac sleeping with other guys? Is Potomac drinking behind the wheel? And Stacey's just sitting there like. So then she's like, and Karen also told me that I shouldn't befriend Wendy because Wendy is self-absorbed and all about herself and not to be trusted. And Mia's like, ooh, does Wendy's know this? Like, basically, she gonna tell what she can't wait to tell Wendy, basically. And then they cut away back to Wendy talking with Eddie, and she's like, you know, I would like to invite Karen to the White House with me because she invited me when she got her key to Surrey County, and she talks about how her peoples bought back the land that they were slaves on, and how the White House was built by slaves, so it would be nice to take Karen somewhere where it was built by slaves, but now she gets to walk on the grounds. And I thought that was so sweet. And I was just like, oh, man, I hope what Karen said about Wendy was not true. But at the same time, what would Stacey have to lie about? But at the same time, Stacey met with Mia and said those things to be messy. But at the same time, who's saying that she's lying? She probably just been holding this in. So then Stacey says in her confessional, you know, now that she's actually gotten to know Wendy, she realizes that Karen only wanted Stacey. She only wanted her to be loyal to her. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I'm looking at everybody sideways. I like that Stacey stood up for herself against Giselle. But at the same time, I don't know. Like I said, that's how the episode ends. I would still give it a B+ because kudos to Stacey and Wendy and her one-liners. We see in the next episode that it will be brought up to Wendy that was what Karen said. And we don't know. It's edited, so we don't know what's going to happen. It looks like Wendy walks out. But I think Wendy does still take Karen to the White House, so maybe she doesn't believe, or maybe it's, like I said, it's edited in a certain way. Looks like Stacey and Karen might be having a downfall in their relationship. And we see that the next week is the season finale. And the dogs are... Looks like TJ's hosting the event with Stacey. The dogs are shitting all over the place and people running around. It's looking weird. And, there was something else I was about to say. Oh, yeah, and they bringing up Karen being found guilty for her DUI. So, I guess we're going to see some of that happening. But like I said, I would give it a B+. Those are my little thoughts or whatever for this week's episode. Comment below what you would grade this week's episode, what you thought of it, your opinions. If there's something I forgot or I was off on or I left out, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe to the channel. If you sat here for 21 minutes, then you could take 5 seconds to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's anonymous, so I won't know it's you. It's free, no money out your pocket. Like I said, it's 5 seconds to do. The best way to help support my channel is by liking and subscribing. So please just like and subscribe. Comment below. Thanks for watching this review, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.